Johnson, still in Chicago, and with me again is Corrado Cavalli, organist of St. John Cantius Church. But today we've come to Our Lady of Sorrows, the Basilica of Our Lady of the Sorrows, which is an organ that Corrado told me about, and it's one I've known about, but you have been playing some concerts here, so you've got to know this instrument really well. Mm-hmm. We have a Lyon and Healy from 1902. Now, when I hear Lyon and Healy, the first thing I think about are harps. Apparently they were building pipe organs for a bit of their years too, and there are only a very few left. This one is in pretty good condition, almost original, but the sound in this room is fascinating. I want to share it with our listeners. Let's start with the grate, which is over there on that side.
Okay.
Tell me what we have in the grate.
So we have some combinations of diapason, 16, 8, 4. We have a viola da gamba, which is quite unique on a grate. And then we have 2 flutes, 8-foot and 4 flutes, and some harmonics like the quint, super octave mixture and trumpet.
Well, so yeah, let's start with that principal chorus then, starting with the 8-foot open.
Okay. D4 octave, 4-foot octave. And with the 2 diapason.
Yeah, that's a big thick sound, but it's clear. It's still singing out, and you can hear a nice line in it. Okay.
Especially because the Basilica is made of marble, so very reflective sound.
We have great acoustics in here in this very large room too, so that helps. Yes. Let's keep going up though and add let's go with the 8-4 and then the 2-foot or the quint and then 2-foot. Four-ring mixture. It's a big, bright chorus.
Yes.
From 1902. I'm impressed with that. And it's all the way across the room from us, so it almost sounds like it's in another building over here, but it's still clear and nice and full.
Yes, with a solid foundation, which is nice.
Okay, let's hear some of the flutes then.
The double float. The 4 flute alone. Eight and 4.
Yeah, very nice.
The viola.
Yes.
That's right.
Very keen, yes. Okay.
And then we have the Ganz horn. We have one reed, an 8-foot trumpet.
impressed by the range of colors here. Again, from a 1902 organ. It's a big organ. I think we said 57 ranks was what someone told me. So we have a lot of room for colors in here.
Yes, especially for a company which, as you said, did just harps. So.
All right, that's all of the greats. Then let's go up to the swell.
Swell,
which
here
is behind us as we're seated up here in the choir loft.
Yes, the organ is split in two different parts, and I guess they are 20 meters.
Yeah,
one from the other.
It's a good distance between the two.
Yes. Okay. On the swell, we have flutes going from 16 till 2 feet. Then some diapasons, 8, 4. We have a cornet, and then we have a lot of strings like voix celeste, violina, viol d'amour, and some reeds. Diapasons.
Yeah, we got a lot of everything. Let's try the diapason.
Open diapason. Then we have the salitional. Can we consider as the diapason?
We'll see. I think I have to call that one a string. It's really narrow scaled solutional this time.
Then we have the 4-foot octave. And with diapason.
Broad and dark there.
Yes. Okay. We can move to the flutes. We have a stop diapason 8 foot. We have an 4-foot flauto traverso.
Very nice.
We have a 2-foot flautino. With 8 and 4.
Nice. Yeah.
We have a cornet.
So dolce cornet of 3 to 5 ranks.
Yes.
Okay.
With the stop diapason and then the 4-foot flauto and then the flautino.
Okay.
I guess we can use also as
that's a little less dolce than I was expecting.
Yes.
That's a pretty bold mixture almost there.
Yes.
All right.
Very bright. Then we have strings.
Yes.
So we have salitional, as we saw before. Voix celeste. I don't see any gamba, so I suppose
it must pair with the solution.
Yes. Then we have an éoline. We have a viol d'amour. which is very close to a flute.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yes.
thinking. It's almost like a thin-scaled flute, but it's interesting to be called a viol d'amour. That's an interesting sound.
And that's why I guess they placed not near to the voix celeste just to not confuse.
Yeah. Would the voix celeste work with the aeoline? I'm curious if it's
let's
loud
see.
enough to compete.
Oh yeah.
I think it's meant to go with the solutional. Okay.
Then we have the full battery of reeds.
Mhm.
Reeds we saw 16, 8, and 4. Contrafagotto. Cornopian. It's not on tune,
There's a
so
little early spring tuning happening. But that strikes me much like the Cassavant later at St. John Cantius. We have these dark reeds in the swell, but then something very bright and different in the grate.
Yes.
It's kind of an interesting...
and we have almost the same names, flute d'amour and the choir, as we had in the Casalant. We had, also other stops with the same name, despite.
Maybe the
Yes.
person involved in designing that one knew
Yes.
something about it.
Especially because it's not a common flute; it's just flute d'amour.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's very, very
They
peculiar.
picked it on
Yes.
purpose. Okay.
We have an oboe.
A little oboe.
Then we have a clairon, 4 foot, with the 8.
Yeah. Okay.
We have a vox humana as well. With the stop diapason.
Okay.
The tremolo just for the vox
Yes.
humana.
Very nice. Yeah, separate tremolo for the Vox Humana and then one for the rest of the division. So, okay, that's everything in the swell.
Yes.
Right next to the swell, then directly above our heads, is the choir division. We have a few lovely colors in there.
Yes, we have a Geigen principal.
Yeah, definitely thinner sound than the other diapasons.
Yes. We have a 8-foot viola. A concert flute.
All very gentle sounds here.
A dulciana. We have 2 4-foot stops, violina and flute d'amour. So this is the violina.
I'm curious
guess-
to hear that with the 8-foot. Yeah.
Yes. Very interesting.
Very nice accompanimental sounds there,
Yes.
I think. All right, then the 4-foot flute.
With the 8/4, with the 8 and 4.
Very nice.
We have another flute, an harmonic piccolo, too.
Surprisingly full.
Yes, more than 4 foot. Let's see what happens with the 8 and 2. Eight, 4, and 2.
Just surprised how big that 2-foot is.
Yes. I wonder if we play 1 octave lower, it can, you know.
Nice solo stop.
Yes.
Yeah,
Actually, it's more present.
Okay.
Then we have one bell clarinet.
Yeah,
Which
lovely.
I guess, yes, also for the choral accompaniment. It can be nice.
Well, and that's everything in the choir, except there is a harp.
Yes.
And the harp was added later, I was told. Okay, very good. And then we have, over on the other side again, we have a 4-stop solo division.
We have a stentorphone, Philomena, all 5, and a tuba binabilis. Stentorphone.
It's a big woolly sound.
Yes. This is the Philomena. Then we have an all 5. I guess it means empty pipe, something like that. With the Philomela. Which can be, I guess, if we combine 8/4 flute on the solo, they can be, you know, a kind of dialogue.
Indeed. All right, and then finally a tuba mirabilis.
Yes, which some more a trumpet.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's more trumpet than tuba, but you've got your dark reeds up here in the swell, so they have brighter ones over there.
I guess you can use also for solo.
We need that brightness to cut through the rest of the
Yes.
the
And it's very similar, I guess, to the trumpet of the great. So this is the trumpet of the great. This is the tuba. So,
just give you 2 options there.
Yes.
Okay. All right, and finally we have some pedal stops. And these are all independent. Nothing is borrowed from other divisions.
yes, we have a 32 contra bourdon, then 4 16-foot stops and 1 8, and one 16-foot trombone. So this is open diapason. This is the violon, which is narrow. Hold on.
Now that is actually behind us in
Yes.
this chamber.
Yes, the three softest stops are placed behind us.
And they're not borrowed from the other divisions?
No,
still,
no, no, no.
They're independent.
They are
Okay.
independent. That is the contra dulciana, which is very soft.
It's amazingly soft.
Yes, I wonder if the microphone is
Yeah,
on.
we'll have to see.
So, and this is the 8-foot flute. So if we put double diapason 16 and 8-foot flute, and the 32, and this is the trombone.
Stop. Just a surprising array of colors here. This is a fascinating thing to come here. Of course, the console this is not the original console. This has been replaced with an Austin console, I believe, which is still holding up and it's still working very well. So we're glad it's here. You have been performing lots of concerts here, and you have more coming up. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you have any particular type of music that is a favorite to bring here?
Especially because I don't have in my church a very big mixture chorus. I prefer playing, Bach music, this kind of music. But also, some Frank, a lot of German music by Drischner or Reger, these authors.
My name is David Rhodes. I'm the owner of City Organ Works. The Bradford Organ Company was contracted in 2012 to restore the instrument, and they started here in the Swell where there was water damage. During the process after they finished the Swell, they moved on to the choir, and unfortunately Walter Bradford passed away. And I had done some side contracting work for them in the past and was referred to do the restoration and the grate and the solo and pedal on the organ. And in late 2016, I was brought onto the project, and I think it was about 3 years it took us to get through the grate, solo, and pedal. This organ's kind of one of those interesting things that it's a time capsule, that it's original to the building from 1902, and it's gone through changes and restoration, not many major changes, but upgrades and things like that over the years. So the organ has kind of varying ages of restoration in it, and going back to even the original chesswork, 1902 chesswork is still in the organ, but as soon as 1920 they were having issues with it, and Emanuel Semerad Sr., who was an Austin representative in Chicago, kind of re-electrified the organ. It already had, as far as we can tell, the Lyon and Healys in the early 1900s were built as electropneumatic with detachable consoles. And examining that chestwork, it had a plunger type of magnet. You don't really see that too often in organs other than direct electric. And it seems that by the 1920s that these magnets were failing. And so Austin came in and tubed off with lead every single stop, action, and key that had a magnet on it, and tubed down to their own little Austin magnet boxes to key everything. And at that time, we understand that the original console was replaced around 1920. Also, the organ had new Spencer blowers put on, 5 horsepower on the great solo pedal side, and a 3 that powers the swell in the choir. They did those changes then, by the 20s. Emanuel Semerad, his son, Emanuel Semerad Jr., ended up releathering the great and solo chest in 1948. We found that scribed on one of the leather. And in fact, it was still about 80% functional. You could tell when we were inside there that the leather was, you could just rip stuff apart, but it was, a lot of it was still playing. In the 70s, Frank Sauter and company did some of the releathering in the pedal. They also changed the huge triple rise reservoirs and put in much smaller single rise reservoirs. And also in the 1950s, this console, Austin console, was put on the organ. So there was a fire here around 1980. The debate as to whether it was from a worker with a cigarette or a lightning strike, but one of the towers burned, and the whole church had smoke damage, and the grate and pedal organ took a great brunt of it, as well as the sacristy is directly below those chambers, and incense for 100 and however many years now, as well as all the candles and everything. It was just, everything was black and coated in soot. So we just literally scrubbed the pipes clean and replaced all of the lead with high-grade neoprene tubing and changed the fittings out so nothing is going to sag, and re-leathered all of the grate and solo secondaries. It's like a Roosevelt-style chest with a little paddle pneumatics. We did end up doing most of the primary. There's primary and secondary keying for the organ. We ended up doing what needed to be done against some stuff. Even as recently as the 1990s, Berghaus had done some work. Any organ of any size, but especially once it gets to this age, you're just constantly having to, even if something is restored, still little tweaks, adjustments, and just to keep her happy and going. All right, now this chamber is the swell and choir division, as well as 3 of the pedal softer stops, 16-foot Dulciana, 8-foot flute, and a 16-foot Borden. These chambers were restored by the Bradford Organ Company between 2012 and 2016. So right now we're underneath the choir box. Bradford rearranged things a little bit, but you can see these original keying boxes that have either now organ supply magnets, but they used to have internal Austin magnets from the 1920s, which they worked fine when they were new, but after time and they get dirty, just impossible to maintenance. So Bradford changed out the magnets with more modern ones, changed out the tubing. We also changed out the magnets on the other side. You can see the much smaller, this whole under area would have just been reservoir practically originally, but small reservoirs actually can do it. One thing of note, 1920s selenium rectifier, still in operation. You almost never see these still working. And another curious thing, they used to be able to change the electricity over from the rectifier or from the generator off of the blower. I don't know why, but they had the option. The generator is no longer connected, but it's just interesting to still see that in place. The organ was built without a harp, but for whatever reason it was added to the spec on the 1950s console, and a harp was purchased at one point in time, so Bradford added the harp as part of their restoration to the organ. And then you can kind of see a little bit beyond you to the left there is the pedal chest in the back, the 16-foot wood Borden, 16-foot Dulciana, and an 8-foot flute. They used all clear vinyl tubing, which is not the best in the long run, and we actually purchased some extra when we were done, and at least just the keying we changed out on both the swell and the choir because the vinyl tubing was already starting to kink and choke itself off. So we changed that out. Now the swell had some significant water damage from the roof, which is originally why Bradford was brought in. And they took these chests completely out and into their shop. They had photos online and everything. But the pedal and the choir were done in place. To get upstairs, they have a double enclosure for the swell boxes. Now we're in the swell box. A couple of things of note. There's actually a double set of swell shades with a void in between them. And they're connected with the trace rod all the way back to the Vox Humana, which is in its own little box and has its own shades. So it's just all kind of, the Vox is under triple expression. And you can see the lead tubing feeding the Vox off of the main chest. Then in here we've got 16-foot Borden, Viol d'Amour, Aeoline, Quinadina, the Traverse flute, the Contraffigato, oboe, Cornopian, mixture. I'm guessing that's the Salicional. Celeste should have been here somewhere. I think the Celeste is actually towards the back. And stop diapason and open diapason. Oh, and I forgot the clarion is hiding in the back here. Now we're in the very small choir box. And here they even managed, there's another 16-foot Lieblickedect, very nice bell clarinet, Geigen diapason, 8-foot Dulciana, there's a 4-foot violin, and an 8-foot concert flute, I believe, on a 2-foot harmonic piccolo. And one of the only changes made to the organ over time was somebody at one point moved the 4-foot violin up to 2 2/3, and it was then moved back. That's just me. So already you can see the back of the 32-foot Borden there. And that was just about black when we started, too. We scrubbed it all. There's a lot of photos of what we did here. You can see the screens on the chamber were actually completely coated, and we got it shot back on a pole. And these are the original Austin-style internal magnets. They have like oval-style, like tic-tac size armatures. And once they start falling apart, it's just no fun. And there's the style of pneumatics on for the manual chest. So I can move this first if you want to go under. So here's the great chest with the solo kind of as an extension of it on the end. And the 16 and 8, all the 8-foot and 16 diapasons are offset. There's a C side and a C sharp side on the other side. So here's, the grate is split into 2 main chests, and it has a single, here's the magnet box here where we changed out, put all new magnets and hoses to replace the lead. And then there's a single primary that feeds and exhausts double primaries on both sides. So it splits up and fires down both sides of the grate. We ended up leaving the muffle box covers off of the valves because they're so tight, they're almost impossible to get off, especially in the summertime. So they stayed on, all new cabling on everything. This is the stop action pneumatics. Kind of an interesting, can't actuate it from right here, but this inflates and closes that little valve. So those were all replaced, and then this is the keying for the solo, 4-stop solo division. And again, this whole area originally would have been all reservoir, and we can thank the Solders for putting in these small guys. And the organ does not sag, so they did their homework. Again, just some of the stop actions for that. Again, all the original zinc wind lines, some of those had to be repaired. I also like painting my wind lines black. Again, one of the pedal offsets, this was all lead coming off that was just completely crushed and crumpled, and we all new fittings on here. They're a blow to play, so it gets its keying right off of the manual chest, and it inflates these little puffers on there. You can see a stenophone in the solo is it's labeled CCC, but that's just the 8-foot stenophone. About 38 scale or in that ballpark. Even the 16s, again, these were all black. I felt like I was doing oven cleaner demonstrations because I just had things on poles with cleaner and got them all done. And again, replaced all this. People had stepped on here to try to get access and then just crushed the tubes. So kind of like a new diesel truck. And then I got the big pedal stuff. I can start at the back. So in the very back here is the 32-foot contraborden. It's a lot of lumber. It's also very thick. It does seem at some point that the organ was repitched, and even now it's barely 435, but they brought it up because all the stoppers are screwed in place that far down the pipe. So, and you can see in other things that were cut down. So at one point in time, the organ was brought up to 435. So 32-foot, and I've also never been in an organ that actually had a pedal chest just like a manual chest. It's got the ranks, you know, individually all, and they're independently standing in each rank. So getting to the tops with ladders and just any of that kind of stuff to clean them or tune them is just not easy. So 32-foot board, and you can look all the way down, and then this is also one of the main keying trunks. Same thing with the grate. This is split two ways. So one half of the keying goes to the 16-foot diapason, violon, and trombone, and the other set of keying just feeds the 32-foot bourdon, which has, I think, double key or double pneumatics for each note. And the other problem with a lot of these is that the little butterfly, try to put that back exactly how it was, most of these were just falling out of the organ and other things, so we had to leather them and re-leather them and Vaseline or any combination. Some of them had a lot of damage to them. We had to kind of reconstruct parts. All the little hangers were taken off and painted. You know, wanted it to look nice. Now this is the one pipe that didn't get cleaned intentionally. They all looked like this, almost solid black, and it's all just soot. And we were so surprised to see when you cleaned them that the pipes look like this. They did not get re-shellacked or anything. This is the original finish on the pipes. They were just sealed in soot. And it took an entire summer just to clean these pipes. Of course, with the way the organ is constructed and without it being a multi-million-dollar project, there's no way to clean this without taking it all out. You know, we had to do it in place the best we could. And even with the trombone, I think we were able to take out all the pipes except the bottom 4 or 5. Took them out. Cleaned them, put all new leather gaskets on the resonators where they go into the block. It's maple block, maple shallot, maple wedge. Nicely constructed. And then in front of that is the 16-foot violon. And it's a 30-note pedal compass, even though the console has 32 notes. And then under here, where I spent several months sitting down, is underneath the pedal chest. This chest is about 14 feet by 16 feet, and it extends behind the keying action where the bourdon, contrabourdon bottom boards are. And again, you could see with the stretch of this, the lead that was on here originally was just sagging and falling out. And once the lead, I think once the tube is open, they play. So, you know, turn the organ on, it was really scary. Recabled everything from the chest to here, and then the cables, you know, go up and over the attic to the other side. It was a little claustrophobic being under here, though, just knowing that all this weight is on you and you're taking its support pieces off. These are all taken off, new gaskets put on the chests, new seals put on the bottom boards, and then shellacked. So, and we painted the floor. Even though it's already dirty after only 6 years, but it was just beat up pine. And now we're in the grate. We're on this side to get kind of a better view of the pedal chest, just how much space it takes up. 8-foot melodia, gemshorn, doppelflute, harmonic flute, 4-foot, I think the 12th, the super octave, second open, trumpet, mixture, octave, viola da gamba, 16-foot diapason, and the first open. And then beyond that is the solo, which has the stentorphone, the 4-foot doppelflute, I think it's a whole flute, whole fife, 4-foot whole fife, 8-foot philomela, and tuba mirabilis at the end. In Chicago, my understanding was any blower 5-horse or higher had to have a slow start. So the one on the other side does not. It's only a 3-horse, and this guy's got the 5. I've heard different stories. You know, some people have mentioned, oh, it's the torque on the motor. Well, it has nothing to do with that. My understanding was more to do with power draw, just so that you weren't pulling too much juice at one time. A lot of that had to do after the fire. The Chicago fire, just anything to try to make things safer. But I'm sure an electrician could tell you better why. But here we go.
Well, Corrado, thank you once again for demonstrating here and introducing me to the Lyon and Healy from 1902 here at the Basilica. Our thanks especially to Father Falco for letting us come in today and show off the instrument to you, because it's something I've really wanted to share. My thanks also to David Rhodes from City Organ Works for coming in and taking us through the organ. He knows everything about this instrument, so thanks to him. Thanks to the music director here for letting us come in and play, and thanks to you for watching it. Also to Ryan Mueller, who used to live around here in Chicago. He's moved on, but he became a video sponsor last year and helped make it possible for us to come to places like Chicago and bring this video to you. So my thanks to Ryan as well. So once again, thank you, Corrado. This was wonderful to hear it. And I'm Brent Johnson. Until next time, thanks for watching.